Okay, this is on angle relationships. The author goes through some new terms. Okay. The first one is the author defines what adjacent angles are. Those are two angles that lie in the same plane have a common vertex two angles that lie in the same plane have a common vertex and a common side. But no common interior point. It's like saying those two angles can't overlap. Here's an example. Okay, say I label this as point A, the vertex is B, label this as point C, and label this as D. Okay, so this angle ABC would be adjacent to angle CBD. Okay, so angle ABC and angle CBD are adjacent. Okay, they have a common vertex, which would be B. The common side, if they said on the directions, if they said what was the common side would be BC. And remember, you have to have that little symbol up above it. Okay. Another example. There's no common interior point. Let's say this is point C. This is point B for the vertex. Let's label this as A and label this as D. Okay. So angle CBA. Okay, this angle right here, CBA, this one. Okay, and angle DBA. They have a common side. BA would be the common side. They have a common vertex, B, and there's no interior point in common. Okay, so those are both examples of adjacent angles. Now let me give you a couple of examples of not adjacent. Okay, draw a little separator. These are not adjacent angles. Okay. Okay, label this point A, point C, label this point D, and the vertex is B. Okay, so angle ABC and angle ABD. What makes those so that they are not adjacent? They have a common vertex. Do they have a common side? They have a common side, AB, right? Yeah, they share the interior. So they share an interior point. Several interior points. Okay, that's what throws that off. Let's do another one over here. Label this point C, this point D, this one point B, and this one point A. And let's look at angle DCB and angle ABC. What throws that off? Yeah, they don't have the same vertex. No common vertex. Okay. So basically, the author's just trying to get you to see what adjacent angles, okay, look like. And those are two examples what they don't look like. Okay. Any questions on that part? Okay, then the author defines vertical angles. Vertical angles are two non-adjacent okay, make sure you get that prefix non. So they are not adjacent angles formed by two intersecting lines. Okay. Draw two intersecting lines. Okay. Anytime you have two intersecting lines, you're going to have two pairs of adjacent angles. Everybody look up here for a minute. And they are congruent. Like this angle is congruent to this angle. They are the same size. This one, and to show it's different is you use two lines, is congruent to this one. You will always have two pairs of vertical angles. Okay, now the author labels them. Label this point A, this point B, point C, and point D. And let's label the vertex point E. So angle A, E, B. Okay, that's the bigger one. And angle, and it's congruent to angle D, E, C. Okay? And then angle A, E, D, that's the smaller one, is congruent to angle B, E, C. So these two are vertical angles that are congruent to each other, and the last two are vertical angles that are congruent to each other. Anytime you have intersecting lines, you've got vertical angles equal and congruent. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay, the next thing the author defines is a linear pair. Okay? The term linear pair. Okay, a linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles. These are adjacent. A pair of adjacent angles whose non-common sides are opposite rays. Non-common sides are opposite rays. An example, draw a picture, straight line. Okay. Okay, label this point D, this point B, this one E, and this one C. The linear pair is angle BED and angle BEC. Linear pair angles will always add up to what? 180, because a straight angle, a straight line, this straight line is 180. Okay? I'm not telling you what each individual angle is, but they will always add up to 180, because if they're opposite rays, ED and EC are opposite rays, this is always going to be 180 degrees for a straight line. So a linear pair is always going to add up to 180. Okay. Let me give you another picture. Label this point D, this point B, this point E, and this point C. Okay, angle D, E, B, and angle B, E, C are not, they are not a linear pair. Why? Because like D, E, and C, are they on opposite rays, straight across? No, they don't form a straight angle. Okay, so that's what an example. They're not collinear. Okay, D, E, and C are not collinear. They're not on opposite rays. Okay. Okay, another thing, and this one you should have already had before, complementary angles. Remember, complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles whose measures, spell it right, two angles whose measures have a sum of 90. So if I gave you two angles and said they were complementary, you know to add them up, set them equal to 90, and solve. Okay? They will always form, if you put the two as adjacent angles, say this is angle 1 and this is angle 2, okay, they always add up to 90. Okay? Angle 1 and angle 2, whoops, and angle 2 are complementary. They add up to 90. So you should be able to add them together. Their measures, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 should equal 90. Okay? And the author is going to usually use a little red to show you it's 90 degrees, a symbol like that. You may have to make that larger on your iPad so that you can see it. Okay? Complementary adds up to 90. What do you call it if they add up to 180? Supplementary. Yep, supplementary. Okay, supplementary angles. Two angles whose measures have a sum of 180 degrees. Okay? And that would look like this. They will always be in a straight line. Okay? And let's say this is angle E, or sorry, point E, point F. Label this as H, and this is G. Okay, so this angle plus this angle add up to 180. So the measure of angle EFH plus the measure of angle HFG would add up to 180. It will always be a straight angle for supplementary. Is always a straight angle. They always add up to 180. Right angles are 90, straight angles are 180. What's that? Okay. And you can always get it off the, if I go too fast? go back to the recording. Or at the end, have me slide it back. Okay? Okay, the last thing, perpendicular lines are lines that form right angles. And this shouldn't be anything new. Perpendicular lines, this line, if it's perpendicular to this line, and the author's just going to show you a little right angle in here. If that one's perpendicular, they are perpendicular to each other. Okay? The symbol that they use, if I said this is line A and this is line B, they will say A is perpendicular. This is their symbol in the book. Line A is perpendicular to line B. Okay? Okay, that's as much as I'm going to cover on the assignment. Now, I did not put the new page number up there for the iPad. Go to section 1.5, okay, and it start with column number 8.